On July 24th, 2022, new Mets trade acquisition Daniel Vogelbach is playing in his first game for the team. He is a very interesting kind of player in today's MLB, in that we currently live in a world where players across all of sports really are more athletic than ever before. Raw athleticism and tools are valued more than ever, and I'm sure your first impression of looking at Daniel Vogelbach isn't really athleticism. And to be fair, how the Mets go about using him supports this. He does not use a glove once as a New York Met. Like a baseball glove that baseball players wear? They did not trust him to be out there in the field at all. But on a nationally televised game with Vogelbach standing at second base, he flipped the script and won everyone over by running.
I'm like, yeah, look, there you go, look at you. I mean, that type of shit fires me up, bro.
What's he up to, man? What's he doing?
The collective reaction was that the Mets had a new rotund legend, and the world could hardly contain themselves.
Danny fucking Burgers hitting ropes out here. Look how fast your boy is. Look at him. Look at him. Runs about a 4.240. Look at him. Standing double. You ain't never seen that before.
This fat prick over here is getting me confused because I'm thinking he's Vogelbach. Don't take offense, because I'm a fat prick myself.
5 days later, Vogelbach swung so hard at a pitch that he broke the chain he was wearing and had to run around with it again. The sight of Vogelbach doing anything good made people, more than just baseball fans, just people in general, anyone who happened to be watching the game and not rooting for the other team, were completely enamored with him. And I hate for this to be a conversation about bodies or anything like that, but people were absolutely over the moon that a guy who was not built like this could still be a productive and fun-to-watch ballplayer. Vogelbach poured fuel on the fire in that summer of 2022 by turning the summer of Danny Burgers into a short-term steal for the Mets, too. Vogelbach was a player with a very interesting skill set that tells you everything you need to know. He rarely swung the bat, walked a lot, hit well when he did take swings, and found ways to be on base. Which, in his case, being on base more meant more opportunities to run the bases. And oh boy, did that get the crowd going when he did. But I guess I mostly just wanted to illustrate, above all else, that he was still productive during that stretch where he became a sex symbol. That's kind of what most of the rest of the story is going to be about. It is still important to mention, though, that this was the best short spurt of Vogelbach's career by most metrics. He hit better as a Met compared to the rest of the league this half season than he ever did, even when he was a 30 home run hitting all-star. And that coinciding with everything else I'm about to tell you makes everything even more fun. You know who was a good baseball player? Potentially the best ever, in fact? Babe Ruth. A beer-drinking, hot-dog-eating big chungus who mashed baseballs effortlessly. That description, and remember, potentially the best player of all time, is the comp Daniel Vogelbach was getting as a New York Met. Whispers of it were around years ago when he played in Seattle, but to borrow some logic from Irresistible by Fall Out Boy, New York's media relevance blows Seattle's out of the water. Being in the biggest media market in the world on a team in first place, coasting to success, exposed the world to our 6-foot-tall, 270-pound behemoth of a ball player. And that extra exposure created a lot of positive buzz his way. The Babe is listed as a nickname of his on Baseball Reference, as is Danny Burgers. But you know what isn't that also came into play during this ride? Sexy back. This is the male physical form that baseball fans came to admire. This is also a man who was quoted as saying, "I hit my home runs in bunches, just like I get my donuts."
That's called motherfucking bars!
This is also a man who, when the team all used female artist walk-up songs for Women's Day at Citi Field, he picked,
I'm for the boys. Whatever the boys want, the boys get, and they wanted me to do it, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Like,
the Mets players and their fans loved this guy. Within a month of him joining the team, they started selling his jersey in the team store. My dad bought one after Vogelbach was a Met for like 3 or 4 weeks tops. This video is actually coming out on Father's Day as my Father's Day gift to my dad. I know you're seeing this, Dad, so hello, thank you for all that you do, and please stop emailing your grievances to Immaculate Grid. Thank you. Anyway, having a baseball player like this have the bits surround them from basically the moment they got traded to a new team, and then embrace that bit, made this an even more compelling story. 18 days after his first game as a Met, Vogelbach appeared on Barstool's Mets podcast. Merchandise, walks, home runs, smiles, confusion, everything. Daniel Vogelbach was now officially a folk hero, and no one could make sense of it. But that slowly started to change when the Mets slipped. The Mets were in first place when they traded for Vogelbach, trying to fight off the defending champion Atlanta Braves. On the final Sunday of the regular season, the Mets' situation got so dire in the divisional race that a loss that day effectively would have ended their shot of winning the NL East and earning a playoff bye. The team had stumbled and lost ground for 2 months and was actively blowing their shot to put the Braves away and earn a division title, but not before Daniel Vogelbach had the single most consequential swing of his Mets tenure in terms of championship win probability added.
Accentuated one of the deficiencies from Mets. Vogelbach sends this to right, way back, and that reduces the deficiency. Daniel Vogelbach, he hits his 18th of the year, and he takes Morton out to tie it at 1.
They still lost.
1, fly ball to right field, Acuna going back, Acuna is there, he's got it! And the Braves have swept the Mets and dealt them a devastating defeat. You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
And not long after, were eliminated in the NL wildcard round. They wouldn't have even had to play in if they had won a game in Atlanta. They got virtually 0 offense in either of their wildcard round losses to the San Diego Padres, and Daniel Vogelbach was thrown a curveball so good, the Mets assumed the Padres pitcher had to be cheating. He was not. Mets season ends, Danny Burgers returns to his couch. Well, not for long. Now that the everyday grind of the baseball season was over, Vogelbach could reap some of the rewards for his new popularity. He made an appearance at the Mets holiday party for local students. And you know, I have never seen a more perfect Santa casting in my life than Daniel Vogelbach. Great idea, fellas. This was as obvious as the Sopranos crew picking Bobby. This is perfect. Wait, seriously? And to promote MLB's new bigger bases being implemented in 2023, they filmed a commercial to advertise that. The star? You already know.
these new bases are wider than the old ones.
Is he focused on the size of the new bases?
Now it will be easier to steal second base.
Is he thinking about stealing second base?
7 years in the league.
And he's never stolen a single base. Don't steal second base.
The pitcher's not looking.
We did this. We, the collective baseball-watching Earth population. Daniel Vogelbach, who would retire from MLB with 0 career stolen bases, is filming an MLB-sanctioned commercial about base stealing. We enjoyed watching him run that much. But I would be remiss not to inform you that the summer of Danny Burgers did not carry over into the 2023 season.
I can't buy him.
He struggled, while keeping much of the same profile in his patterns, just not with as good of results. So, the Mets community and the baseball world turned on him. He was no longer a beloved hero. He was being ripped by fans, made fun of on Twitter by a Mets legend, and was the subject of an active dispute between his manager and the Mets executives over whether or not he should play at all. The manager was the one who wanted no part of him in the lineup, by the way. The struggles got so bad that Vogelbach briefly took a mental health leave to reset. With his performance taking a noticeable decline, the Mets let him go after 2023. He played 31 more MLB games in 2024 for the Toronto Blue Jays, where his performance continued to nosedive. And that was it. Fewer than 2 years after his Mets debut, Daniel Vogelbach was done as an MLB player. He retired early in 2025 to take a coaching job with the Pittsburgh Pirates, the team that traded him to the Mets to kick off our story. Danny Burgers, the cultural icon, is an incredible reminder to savor your special moments. Your life will constantly have small little eras you look back on fondly, years into the future, wishing you knew right then and there just how special and insane the experience really was. I would like to think that a player as experienced as Vogelbach was even before reaching the Mets knew this was a special ride. I just hope the fans who were a part of it now think of him the same way. Baseball and life move fast. It took just under 2 calendar years for the big new sensation in baseball to be out of a job as a player for good. There's a lesson in that for all of us. But we still need to give Vogelbach his flowers for just how well he played during that golden age of his time as baseball's favorite wide-bodied everyman. After the 2022 baseball season ended, fans were able to vote on who the best designated hitter in MLB was that year. The 5 candidates were as follows. Yordan Alvarez, the Astros slugger who punctuated their World Series win in 2022 with a lefty-on-lefty moonshot and hit so well that he challenged 62 home run Aaron Judge for AL MVP through much of the first half of that year. So he was really good. Bryce Harper, an easy future Hall of Famer, also coming off an incredibly clutch playoff run in Philadelphia. Shohei Ohtani, the most talented baseball player on the planet, maybe ever. Albert Pujols, potentially the best right-handed hitter in the entire history of baseball. And Daniel freaking Vogelbach.
Daniel Vogelbach deep to left center. Back goes Reynolds near the wall. It's out of here. Daniel Vogelbach goes the other way. And it's 2-0 New York.